Now, neither of these players should need any introduction whatsoever. Anyone who doesn't know these players just has not been keeping up with not just the North American scene, but I would say StarCraft in general. puCK has been one of those huge staples, probably one of the strongest Protoss players in North America for a very long time, alongside Neeb, probably just behind Neeb for a while. But even when Neeb was on the upswing, I would say there was a lot of comparisons that were always drawn. Who's the strongest Protoss player, puCK or Neeb? And it was a very, very close battle until Neeb finally kind of started getting a few more results and overtaking puCK in some regards. But puCK has always been absolutely one of the really, really strong players and has a very similar playstyle to M. Canning. Very, very similar playstyle to M. Canning. Loves his Disruptor play, loves his Blink Stalker play, of course, more than anything else. I would say he loves his Blink Stalkers more than he loves his Disruptors. But of course, a very accomplished player as well. North American player winning almost $50,000 in prize money, representing Team OSC Root in the United States of America. Interesting that says Aligulac does not have any recent matches from puCK. In Protoss versus Zerg at least, and in fact, in terms of tournament games, he only really has 6 games played recently. And that is a little bit of a surprise, but you have to keep in mind that puCK really has not had the best of luck, I would say, in terms of his technology. For a very long period of time, you might notice that puCK sort of fell off for a while. You didn't quite see him in a lot of the big events toward the end of 2016. You didn't see him in a lot of things in beginning of 2017. That's because he was struggling with a lot of internet issues. He was getting lag that would just hinder his experience, not only playing, but also streaming, which I think is something that he was finding a lot of enjoyment in at the time, unfortunately, where he just was not able to play StarCraft without getting almost 2 to 3 seconds of stuttering lag repeatedly every 5 seconds. It was unbelievable. He played his Nation War games in that kind of same setting. So I'm amazed that he was able to even do as well as he did in Nation Wars. But that does also explain a lot of that kind of downswing that he had. He's been able to establish everything back up. He's got everything working as intended now again. So not quite struggling with any of that anymore. And of course, True does not need any introduction, as I said before. He is the Korean who came to North America representing Psystorm Gaming and has won quite a bit of money coming from that Korean environment to the North American environment, and has been such an active participant. I was talking him up a little bit in that last game, and I've really got to say, True is one of my favorite Korean players that came to North America. And of course, I am a huge fan of puLT. I will never forget some of the amazing moments that puLT has given to StarCraft 2. And of course, same thing for Violet. But you know, you talk about puLT and Violet, and those are the kind of players that you would seek. They come and live in North America, but they never really actively participated in the ladder that much. Of course, puLT would sometimes stream a little bit, Violet would sometimes play on the ladder a little bit, but never really heavily getting super involved in the North American scene like True did. Or, you know, of course, Hydra is another player that got super involved in the North American scene. And I always gave so much respect to True for doing that and being such a big part of it, because it increased the skill level of everybody else around him. And no, this is not live, by the way. These are replays from this past weekend, but I am live. I am alive. Just like the player who didn't quite end up winning the Ting Championship, spoiler alert, this past weekend. But these are all the games from the WCS North American Challenger ladder qualifiers, which weren't really broadcasted because they were all just happening on the ladder, but I thought that was a shame, so I decided to make a bit of a broadcast after it. Okay, but we got another game on Newkirk Precinct because we just can't get enough of Newkirk Precinct. I think I'm actually going to fill up on water really quickly since we've cast a few games. I'm going to be back in just about 2 minutes. It's going to be a very, very short break, but for those who are familiar with my channel, I have downtime content, so you guys don't have to sit on a static screen for a while. I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Welcome to the third episode of Top 5 Community Plays. Starting off with number 5, we have the Protoss player McFuckets moving in with a standard Hallucinate Phoenix Scout. But why not get some bang for your buck? The friendly fire splash damage on these Widow Mines ends up creating 7 hallucinated SCVs. For number 4, we have the Protoss player Gemini defending against a Marine Book. He ends up losing the Mothership Core and is on the verge of losing some very valuable sentries. But with some amazing Heart of the Swarm War Prism Micro keeps everything alive.
On to number 3, where ARC Trooper is looking for some Baneling landmine opportunities. When most people see 4 spine crawlers, they give up on their chances of a Baneling run by. But ARC Trooper soaks up the hits with the Zerglings and creates a perfect opportunity for 15 drone kills. At number 2, it's a Zerg player, Prophet. Don't you hate it when the medevacs get away with 5 hit points? Prophet sure does. But what's this? Prophet had a Nidus Worm on the other side of the map. He gets a little extra value out of it by sending his queen on vacation to Snipe City. Population? Well, 1 less medevac. And finally, number 1. The Terran player Bali is about to make you drop your jaw with this medevac micro. In fact, mine is still drop, so just enjoy this one.
Hello everyone, my name is Loco and welcome to the second episode of Top 5 Community Play.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's not delay this any further. We are hopping into the game that we've been hyping up. Spine down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player. Give it up for Psystorm Gaming's True. And his opponent, spine down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Protoss player from Root OSC or OSC Root. Depending on how Wardy feels today, give it up for puCK. And man, these guys are super talkative. That's what I always love. puCK is such a friendly guy on the ladder. He loves to troll. He loves to kind of mess with people and talk. And True is also one of those players that I love to see kind of get involved in those kind of conversations. I think these guys are very, very friendly with each other. I don't even know what they're talking about. Out on the street, something like that. But Protoss versus Zerg, we got another one of these. puCK, again, playing a pretty similar style to M. Canning I was talking about before. And he's been known to go for some of those DT drops, I think. But again, when you think of puCK, you oftentimes think of 2 things. You think of Blink Stalkers and you think of Disruptors. But generally, I think the best way to describe puCK's playstyle is that he is playing his absolute best StarCraft when he feels like he's having fun. That's the best way I can describe it. And he's going to be opening up with a Nexus first, going for the gateway, then double gassing, and then starting to complete that wall off. So, going to be trying to get away with a bit of greed, and taking a look at what True is doing, I think he's going to be able to get away with that exact greed, because True did go for a hatch first. He's not going to have early Zerglings or anything coming out, nor would he even really get a scout out on this for a little while. Definitely too late to really do a whole lot to try and punish this, as Cybernetics Core already going up, and I think one more pylon should be able to mostly complete this wall in, especially if you decide to get a Zealot out or something. But puCK, for now, seems like he just moved in, scouted out the natural expansion, then backed off. That's all you really wanted to see, is confirm True was not going to all in him, because True is a bit of a tricky bugger. True most certainly has a bit of a playstyle, and he likes to get aggressive, he likes to play a little bit weird. He was known for a really long time of getting up a massive number of queens. I don't think that's necessarily always the case anymore. I think that he's definitely shifted a bit away from that style, but I've seen him do it every so often, here and there, maybe reverting back to old strategies. Either way, though, you always have to be a bit wary of True. True is absolutely the player that will, you know, just 12 pull you right off the gate, just because, just to keep you honest for future games. But we just have 1 drone left in gas, a 3rd expansion coming out. True is not doing anything super cheeky. He has Zergling speed on the way. He's going to get up a handful of Zerglings, most likely to deal with a potential Adept that could be coming out. And, ooh, I like this. puCK gets out the fairly fast Stalker and may even be able to deny the Overlord Scout. I like how True, losing the Overlord, even just says, yeah, oh yeah, your Stalker looks really nice. puCK says, YouTube, what does that mean? What does it mean to say you too? This is like when you go to the movie theater, the person hands you the ticket and says, enjoy the movie. And you say, yeah, you too. Oh, never mind. You're not going to be watching a movie. I don't mean you too, because you're going to be standing out here while I go and watch Jason Bourne be a badass, and you're going to be dealing with angry customers and smelling popcorn that you can probably not eat right now. It's that kind of awkward level of like, nice stalker, yeah, you too. I play Zerg. Now it's just awkward all around. Dark Templar going to be coming out for puCK. Seems like he's going to be looking to go into that very similar opening to what we saw in that last game from M. Canning. Going into that DT drop that is oh so well known these days. True did get up a pretty quick Overlord speed upgrade though, so even though he lost his very first Overlord, he does get in over here, sees the Dark Shrine, confirms the Twilight Council, and of course the double gateways. And I think at this point you can pretty much assume, yeah, you're going for the DT drops. You're going to try and make some Archons possibly. In fact, True just confirming our confirmation of his confirmation, saying DT, no, okay. Well, I guess since puCK is lying to him, True may be extra mind game and not make the Spore Crawlers. He does make one Spore Crawler over the third, but maybe feeling a little bit weary about it. Maybe there's not going to be a DT coming out. Archon? Can I cancel my Spore Crawlers? Shuttle? Alright, well, he's got him. puCK, he's going for the shuttle. I suppose that is what a Warp Prism is, but ooh, we got a second Warp Prism coming out. I am liking this. I've heard a couple of stories about this. Snoot was telling me about how some European Protoss players have been going absolutely crazy with this. It's not just about these two Archons of the Warp Prism. You get out a second Warp Prism, and then you make more Archons, and you just start harassing from all sorts of different angles and sides with multiple Archons and multiple Warp Prisms. We'll see if that's exactly what puCK wants to do right now. The second Warp Prism has popped out. First two Archons getting a little bit of damage done. Gonna be able to snipe off a Queen here and there. Backing off, not taking any kind of real damage on that Warp Prism. 4 more DTs being warped in. 2 more Archons gonna be made. And puCK is playing a very, very micro-intensive style, which is absolutely where you end up seeing the best of puCK. True remarking how strong the Archon seems to be right now. I would not disagree. Third and fourth Archon's going to be moving on in. True has not caught wind of this just yet. Even the Spore Crawler is starting to take some damage. If that Spore Crawler dies, there is a layer that can make an Overseer. There is one Overseer on the map, but these Archons are putting in some serious work. At the same time, dropping the natural expansion. These Archons are able to kill off a couple of workers, even warping in a few Zealots, and these two Archons are still doing damage. They're going after the Spore Crawler, killing it off. Now a DT can be warped in. Oh my god. puCK is going absolutely ham right now, but the Warp Prism is going to end up getting out really, really low in health. Dudge manages to survive, but it seems like the Archons do get picked off, and so do the Adepts. Warp Prism going to be able to back off and regenerate some of that health. This Warp Prism still has a decent bit of health left over, and it seems like 13 workers worth of damage has been done. All of these workers are not mining right now. The DT was able to kill off a few workers as well. And it seems like, okay, all the damage was cleaned up over here in the natural expansion. The Warp Prism moves back in. He's got one Archon left over. Gonna be able to kill off a few more workers. Focus firing it down. Going after the Queen, realizing, yeah, if I can kill that Queen, nothing else can attack my Warp Prisms. 3 Queens still out on the map right now. True is doing a surprisingly good job dealing with this, but I would say one of the most impressive things is that puCK is microing both of these Warp Prisms on both fronts, and still taking his third expansion, and still spending all that money. Finally starting to calm down for just a moment, taking a step back. Has both Warp Prisms still alive, though. And 1 Archon in each. Gonna catch wind of this 4th expansion. True needs to get up some form of anti-air that is, not just Queens, it seems like, to try and push back those Warp Prisms. Because puCK is just so on point with his micro right now. He is not going to let it fall. Third expansion also, of course, established a while ago. 4th expansion getting canceled for True. Definitely is going to start to hurt pretty soon, as puCK has been sitting on a relatively even economy for a long period of time now. The big question is, does he have the tech to back it up? He has Resonating Glaive, sure, but versus those roaches, you really do not need to start getting out some of the more late game stage tech units. You need to get out more of these Immortals. 2 Immortals, 3 Immortals is definitely a nice start. Sentries, of course, can also add in a good bit of damage. Looks like the Archon... Oh, Archon might have gotten lost over there. Unfortunate for puCK. But True, very much in place with all of his roaches, is not taking too much more damage. He has more than enough units to really make it difficult for puCK to try and get any more damage done. And it seems like True may even be getting close to a max out point. +1 missile attacks has already been finished up. +2 missile attacks is on the way. We got roach speed as well. And oh wow, the latest Zergling speed ever. I didn't even notice that True canceled or just never even started Zergling speed. Kind of interesting. puCK is moving in right before all those upgrades are going to be finishing up, though. This is the time for puCK to hit, because if he waits any longer, I was going to say all these upgrades are going to be finishing up, and I don't know if puCK can really contend with an army that gets into that sort of situation, especially now that it's maxed out. But beautiful concave coming in over here for True. puCK throwing down some pretty good force shields, trapping out a lot of the army, really delaying a good bit of it. True moves up on the high ground as well as the low ground, though, and it seems like at the same time puCK takes this as an opportunity to move in with the Adepts, doing some nice War Prism harassment inside the natural, and now moving into the main base with those Adepts, and takes it as an opportunity to back out with his army. I think the 4th expansion is safe for now, and no kind of aggression happening over there, but puCK finally taking the opportunity to throw up his robotics bay. Says, okay, you got up the Hydras, I need to start thinking about those disruptors, I need to start thinking about my transitions. But all those upgrades we were talking about, they have finished up for True. He's getting out 16 Banelings, he's getting up Centrifugal Hooks, he's getting up +1 melee. And when all of these upgrades finish up again, I mean, is that going to be a little bit too late? True has a maxed out army. The longer he waits, the bigger of an army puCK is going to get. The closer puCK is going to get to disruptors. Can you imagine all these slow Banelings waddling into a disruptor shot? It's not going to be a pretty sight, but here we go. True's moving in right before that first disruptor pops, but also right before Zergling or Baneling speed finishes up. So force shields are going to be really, really effective over here. Traps out all of the Banelings, but eating a lot of the corrosive bile shots. 4th expansion taking quite a bit of damage at the same time. The Adepts moving into the 3rd expansion of True. Able to kill off quite a few workers over here. True falls down to 49 workers and still following, but 4th expansion gets taken out over here for puCK. Almost all the Banelings have been taken out as well. 9 Banelings managed to survive long enough for Centrifugal Hooks to very soon kick in. I think the Adepts are still at it, though. Oh, no, unfortunately, puCK not quite paying attention for a moment. Loses a couple of shots that he could be using on those Adepts, but still doing a fantastic job pulling True all the way back home. Even if it was after he lost his 4th expansion, he even finds an opportunity to kill off this forward 5th expansion. And puCK, I think, taking a really, really nice lead in this game. But, oh, gotta be careful. Oh my god, True's coming in with a flank. Disruptor is very, very exposed right now. It's going for a big shot, but it gets sniped off right at the last second. Not many force shields left over either. True coming in for a potential flanking position. Not quite going to be able to get that big concave he was looking for, but now he moves in. He's trying to cut off the retreat path. puCK is not going to be able to escape out of here. I think this might be a little bit too much. Oh my god, the Immortals, the Sentries, the Adepts, they're all abandoned hope. puCK blinks out of there with his Stalkers, but he does not have any power units left over. 2 more Disruptors now popping out. 2 more Disruptors about to pop out. He's relying on big hits. Can he get them? Time Warp does help out a little bit with that first Disruptor hit, but not quite the massive hit he really needs. 4th expansion doesn't even get canceled. It gets killed off. He did a good amount of damage. He loses the Mothership Core, but he is still up against True, who has an option to mine from a very fresh expansion. Now, if True cannot push into puCK, puCK still has a really solid chance. And I think with 4 Disruptors now out, this does become an iffier situation. I'm not sure if True is really going to push the issue. DT's still around. Oh my god, this DT is going to right-click down the Spore Crawler, I think. I think it's about 3 or 4 hits away from dying, and it seems like there may have been a bit of harassment, maybe an Adept or a DT over there. puCK cleans up the Spore Crawler and backs out of there before the Overseer can even make its way over here. I don't even think there's an Overseer with this army. Is there even an Overseer out on the map? I think they all may have died already. True realizes this and corrects the oversight, the weakness in his army composition as he also morphs in 18 more Banelings. He killed off so many of those sentries. Remember, puCK and invested into those sentries early on in the game and was keeping them alive. Those were the force shield potential. Those were his answer to those Banelings. Now he may be relying almost purely on disruptors to help deal with those banelings. Because these sentries, these adepts are not going to be able to make their way out of there in time. And he does not have many force fields right now to work with. War Prism getting ready for puCK to move into that expansion. Maybe just looking for the right opportunity. Wants to make sure he doesn't just end up losing all those adepts. So he's going to probably try and wait until he can guarantee the positioning of the army. And I think using a DT or even using an observer or something was a great way to do something like that. Oh, these disruptors push very far forward. Okay. War Prism moving forward with 4 of the adepts. I think 1 adept was left back on the outside. Looks like the adepts are able to get out of there without really losing any of their lives. But of course, even keeping True at home is also nice. 4 banelings making their way in. Nice foot and overcharge timing. Oh, but not a great timing for the transfer. Hold position from puCK. Keeps his units alive for a good bit longer. Gives them time to warp in. That was a bad situation that was handled very, very well for puCK. That could have been so much worse. Single DT is going to get cleaned up. Maybe looking for some... I guess that's the sad thing that I realized a long time ago about trying to kill banelings with DTs. You think, oh, juicy targets that I can kill, the high-value targets. But then you remember when you kill a baneling with the DT, you still take that splash damage and you end up losing your DT. And you're like, oh, right. Even if you kill them, they do the splash damage. Well, shit. One of the few instances that actually comes into play. Okay, True maybe looking to come in from the backside and catch some of puCK's army off guard. Still got those that War Prism with the adepts, trying to get some damage done. True's sitting on 47 workers, which really isn't a whole lot. But oh, Balin's trying to move into the mineral line. Not actually finding the greatest connections. Even on the army, they only really find stalkers. So good defense from puCK. puCK also managed to establish this very forward 4th expansion. And having knocked down these rocks as well, I think that he's going to be able to do a very, very short push into True's, I guess, 3rd expansion, 4th expansion. I forgot which expansion that was. Oh my god, banelings, though. Apparently ran their way in, taking out a ton of puCK's worker supply. Now sitting down to 31 workers. puCK is in a really awkward position now. He didn't exactly have a lot of mining bases. He can still transfer some workers and get some okay mining going over there, but definitely not the spot he wanted to be in. Archon going to be able to take quite a few of the baneling hits. puCK getting a really, really good engagement over here. Corrosive Biles landing on quite a few of puCK's disruptors. Banelings not quite able to finish off any of these units, though. I think that was a huge loss for True. True is able to re-max out, but I mean, it's all on Zerglings. Is that going to be enough? There's no Archons left over for puCK anymore, but these disruptors may still end up being enough. Depends on the kind of engagement. If these Zerglings are able to get a full surround on this army, disruptors are going to have a very difficult time getting a good hit off. Looks like the banelings get obliterated by some disruptor shots. Good force fields also taking out so much of this army. Beautiful disruptor. Takes out a ton of the roaches, but puCK is still falling in supply. He needs to continue to take better and better engagements. The War Prism gets taken out. The reinforcements going to take a little bit longer. Nice hold position just delays this army from moving in for a little bit longer. And it looks like puCK retreating up to the high ground because he knows he can force field over there. But now, True just says, screw it. I'm going for your only mining base right now. puCK has to retreat back home. He's only got 1 disruptor, it seems like, with his army. War Prism does its absolute best to try and do what it can. Archon from the north side gets taken out. Corrosive Biles landing on top of all of these sentries and the stalkers. And puCK loses one of his only mining bases, and still True has a mining base. He has a 2nd mining base. The Adept is cleaning up any of those units over there. Apparently it doesn't have any kills just yet, but puCK is on his last leg. He doesn't have any disruptors left over. GG gets called. True comes out victorious in a very riveting, close game. Well done.